Okay, so we are back with Absolute Batman. We've returned to Absolute Batman. And this is Absolute Batman Volume 2, Abomination. This covers the issues 7 to 14 of Absolute Batman. It covers quite a bit of story. A lot of different changes are made as compared to Volume 1, The Zoo. But Abomination, basically, what it's designed for is to introduce the Rogues Gallery, the Absolute Batman Rogues Gallery, and explain the story of Bane and his kind of arc between fighting Batman. Okay. Also, guys, by the way, spoilers for Absolute Batman. If you don't want to get spoiled it, then don't watch it. So overall, what I really do have to say about Absolute Batman is number one, there's a vast improvement as compared to Volume 1. Volume 1, I think I've made my case before, was really boring. It was preachy, and it just wasn't a lot of action in it, which was unfortunate because I think those were its strong points, but there wasn't enough for me to be engaged in it. Gratefully, I am to say that Volume 2 basically does everything that I asked it to do, was that it just focuses on the crazy, over-the-top ideas and the action, and just cranks it up to 11, put it into 17th gear. but that's basically what Absolute Batman Volume 2 kind of its theme sort of is, just the over-the-top nonsense of it. And like I said, the Absolute Batman story, and I'm going to be headed to the story, so spoiler alerts. The story of Absolute Batman Volume 2, it's mostly just designed to introduce the Rogues Gallery, right? So you have the beginning of the story, Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is this experimentation gone wrong. That's what a lot of the backstories of the villains now are, is that they're actually just experimentations. Kind of weird. A lot of issues too I have with it is that I'm not a fan of body horror, and that's what it kind of focuses on a lot, is the really gross body horror. Like, think of the difference between, I don't know, an awesome fighter like Doom Guy, okay, Doom Guy or Kratos, and then you go into the dark stuff like Saw. That's the type of violence, the difference, right? Just action, and this is gross. I digress. But overall, the story is about Bruce Wayne and his friends. They get captured by this secret lab, underground experimentation group. It's called Ark-M. Get it? It's like Arkham. It's so stupid. I facepalmed when I heard that one. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Ark-M. Anyway, it's such a nitpick. It's not as big of a deal, but for crying out loud, I was like, come on, guys. Really? Just call it Arkham. Just call it Arkham Science Laboratory. It's not Ark-M. Well, whatever. So this experimentation group experiments on all the friends. Killer Croc is created. The Penguin, friggin' the Riddler. The funniest one I have to say is that instead of Two-Face, it is now One-Face. His whole face gets burned instead of half of it. So that one's pretty great. Really, really funny. But yeah, so that's kind of what it's made for, including the other characters as well. On the side, you had Catwoman, you had Deathstroke, and Harley Quinn. But that's kind of the side plot. The other issue is introducing the characters. The main storyline is with Bane. Bane is a very fun character. In the original, he was kind of like a wrestler, turned to crime, and then got hooked up on this venom drug, made him like the Hulk essentially. And with that, he kind of resorted to crime and stuff like that. With this one, it's a little bit different. Like I said, it's darker, so it's like, oh, of course, we're going to do, instead of a luchador, he is a South American cartel revolutionary, right? Some of that's Cuba, a Cuban revolutionary. Of course, I'm grateful to say it doesn't paint that in a good way. He's a horrible person. Even before the drugs, he literally murdered his dad by crushing him in a wrestling move, which is crazy. But so it's this whole thing with him against Batman, and the whole battle is pretty cool. One of the other only issues I really have with it, and that's mostly on my fault, on my own fault. I don't think that viewers are going to have a lot of issues with reading this, is the fact that I have to suspend my disbelief sometimes. And let me explain. So there's some parts in Absolute Batman where I'm just like, holy crap, Batman just died. You know, it's insane. In fact, the part where was Bruce Wayne was captured by Arc M, and he was experimented on, he was tortured, whatever, and Batman escaped, and he fought Bane hand to hand. And I mean, like, it was brutal. Like, Bane ripped off his arms. I was like, oh my gosh. And then he, like, got a slab of concrete. He smashed his face in. I was like, holy crap. Like, Bruce Wayne's dead. And then the next page is like, anyway, a month later, it's like, what? How did he come back? But I just, that one was crazy silly to me. So it definitely revels in its over-the-top action. And I think that you have to suspend your disbelief in some parts of the story. Of course, there's no such thing as the Venom serum that turns you into a giant hulking monster. Okay, of course, there's not a secret underground lair called Arkham. That's the part. That's the fantasy of it. Is we have to suspend our disbelief in being like, okay, they're right. They're just trying to create a world for us. I get that. I understand that. I do prefer a more grounded Batman. Like the Dark Knight is always a cooler Batman in my opinion. But you know, this isn't ruining it for me. Overall, actually, I think it was a vast improvement. I don't prefer. If this was up to me, I would have chose other books to read. Like right now, I'm reading The Dark Knight Returns, The Long Halloween. I like those ones way better than this. But this is the newest current run of Batman, minus the official series. And honestly, yeah, I recommend it. I don't think it's that bad. It's not my preference, but I don't think it's that bad. I would give it probably a 3 out of 5 with a positive on the positive side. Now 3 out of 5 on the negative. And I personally, I'm excited to see what comes next. I'm excited to see the creepy alien Joker that they plan on making, and the absolute Robin, who's just going to be Robin, but on with the Sam Solik build. It's going to be great. Anyway, 3 out of 5. Toad out.